Kino ki kye baleese?
Baleese akawunga mwenna balaba ku service truck. Baleese akawunga n'ebijanjaalo naye tekuli bamawulire
Nedda.
tekuli bayimbi baagala balwadde ba mutima ate ab'omutima nga walwala nnyo tolina busobozi bokka.
Daani
Daani bambi Daani
kansala
Daani gatwagala naye gwe kyolina omumanya bino ebijanjaalo biraba bagambye ebirongooseemu naye omusajja ataddeko amannya ag'omugalabye
ojja kunzitira kulaga ensiiko.
Amannya ogalaba amannya bino bijanjaalo naye kuliko amannya ndowooza olaba the Amber Herbert Foundation okitegeera not for sale.
Naye sooka ogula ebijanjaalo bino bya ddala.
Bino ebijanjaalo bya ddala
Kale sooka toyongera otangazaamuko ku bantu
anti abayimbi musabiriza nnyo babagambye muno tekuli byabayimbi tekuli byabayimbi bino byabayimbi.
To contribute towards 3 groups of Ugandans who are affected because of what is happening in the country. First and foremost, those are the tuberculosis patients who are on medication. Don't forget that TB is a disease that usually affects most people in the ghettos. So most of them are home, and being home, they are poor, but at the same time, they are on strong medication. So we went out and sampled with Dr. Sarah of KCCA. We know the number of people who have tuberculosis who are on medication, but we came down excluding those who can handle until we got a certain number that we know needs help. So today, as Amber Heart Foundation, Bebe through Amber Heart Foundation, I would like to hand over 500 bags of food to the Minister of Health, Madam Honorable Ruth Acheng, and with a request that it could be handed over to those specific tuberculosis patients who are suffering, who need help with food. The details will be given by the doctors at the right time. Doctor, at the same time, so many Ugandans are away from work and people don't have food. We still have 2 weeks to go. We don't know what will come after the 2 weeks. But we have also vulnerable groups that are still working to make sure that the country is aware of what is happening, to give all the news, the awareness about COVID-19, and that is the members of the press in Uganda. So they're under a group of Uja, and they also requested for help. So as Amber Heart Foundation and as Bebe the artist, I have handed over 200 bags of food. That's 100 bags of maize flour and 100 bags of beans. But Your Honorable, as I was also coming in the morning, my closest friends were also crying, the DJs. So for that purpose, I also said I'm not going to have songs played in the discos if I don't be of help. So I also hand in as Bebe 100 bags of maize flour and 100 bags of beans to the DJs. So in a total of 900 bags of food. The first lorry is here. We didn't want to take a lot of time more waiting for the second one, which will be here in the next few minutes. So, Honorable Minister, my request is the representatives of these three groups are here. Though we have an issue of the fact that we know we are not supposed to distribute food. So luckily, these people have centers, and the press people are in work. Uja has a center where they have promised that they cannot give out food to groups, apart from those who are called one by one. So the same as applying to the DJs who are in their homes crying. So these few individuals will be responsible to keep the food and give individually to those who come. Or they will distribute because they have the stickers as they've been driving. That is a request. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is my boss
thank you,
in tuberculosis, Dr. Stavia.
Thank you so much, Amber Heart Foundation and Bebe for this gesture towards the people who are suffering from tuberculosis. My name is Dr. Stavia. I'm the Assistant Commissioner in charge of TB and leprosy, the Minister of Health. This donation comes in to support all the TB patients out there who are on treatment and are lacking in terms of what to eat. So we are very happy that you have given us this gesture. Like he has said, COVID-19 has kept us home. It's a good thing for us to control the disease from spreading to us and our neighbors. But it brings challenges of continuing to fend for our livelihood. And the TB patient is one of those who needs a lot of support, or who may not be able to sustain themselves during the lockdown, given the category of people who suffer the disease. I know also rich people suffer TB, but those who are out there and are poor, they may not sustain themselves through the lockdown. So this gesture is very welcome, Bebe. The signs and symptoms of TB, like he said, are similar to those of COVID. You will have a cough if you have TB, and you have heard that if you have COVID, you also like a cough. You will have a fever if you have TB, and COVID also gives you a fever. So those of you who are still out there in the community and are having signs and symptoms of cough and fever and are not coming out to test, please come out, and the health workers will evaluate you to rule out TB. If you have had a contact with someone who is a suspect of COVID, still you know the procedure we have told you. You need to notify the health workers again so that you are evaluated. So thank you.
Okay, so on behalf of the National Task Force for COVID and on behalf of the Ministry of Health, allow me to appreciate Amber Heart Foundation and Baby Cool for the generous donation of food to TB patients within Kampala, and also to other groups that definitely need food, the Journalists Association and the DJs. We are extremely grateful that you have reached out to these groups of people and provided food. TB patients particularly need food because the medicine they take drains them of energy, and they need to take it after they have eaten something. And because we have been under a lockdown, now coming to 4 weeks, it is difficult for many of them who, first of all, we are not even affording food because we are giving them food through the Global Fund. But after the lockdown, it is difficult even to reach out to them. But working with the National Task Force, we will ensure that the food gets to the TB patients and that they do access food, especially the vulnerable ones that don't have food at all. We are grateful that you have remembered them and that they will be able to take their medications and not neglect taking their drugs and avoid having TB flare up again later on, so that we end up with multi-drug resistant TB. So thank you very much on behalf of the Ministry of Health. I also want to continue to appeal to the other groups, the Uganda journalists and the DJs. Please ensure that you don't invite people like the journalists gathered here to get food. Food must be distributed door to door. I am wondering how the individuals will come to access food if they don't have transport, but make sure that if people are accessing food, it is one at a time, so that we avoid overcrowding and avoid spreading the infection. For now, we have managed to keep Uganda relatively at low infection rates. We need to maintain this, and all of you are aware that our goal is to ensure that any infected person only infects one and not any more. So if we maintain that, we will go a long way. The infection rates in other parts of East Africa are increasing. That means Uganda has to remain on high alert, and we have to maintain the principles of the preventive measures that His Excellency communicated. Please remember to maintain your social distance and remind your neighbor to maintain their social distance. It is about life and death, and we must keep alive. All of us must celebrate Christmas. So tell your neighbor, maintain your social distance. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless all of you. Thank you very much, Amber Heart Foundation, for this generous donation of food for our TB patients and for the other media groups. God bless you.
Mbadde nsaba kwebaza nnyo Bebe olw'omutima omulungi okutuwa emmere ffe ba DJ n'okusaba abayimbi abalala nabo batuweeyo ku buyambi because ba DJ tuli bangi eneyinza obutamala. Ntwale n'omukisa okwebazaako Mesa Semakula naye yatuwaddeyo kilo 10 n'abayimbi abalala abasaze okweyama. Kenzo ali bweru yagambye agenda tuwayo emiliyoni ya ssente n'abalala bagenda otuyambako. So Bebe tweyanziza nnyo ffe nga ba DJ, waliwo abayina waliwo abatayina, so emmere tujja gituusa bulungi. Tweyanziza nnyo, tweyanzeege era ne music kati owe Uganda n'abayimbi banno bagambe kati tugenda mukyusiza ddala tebanyiiga naye nga n'endala tujja zikuba naye nga tweyanziza nnyo Rasta emmere gyotuwadde tusiimira ddala.
Basebo ne bannyabo omuka receiving omwami ono ye Moses wa Ujja. So on behalf of Amber Heart Foundation ne Ujja tugiwaddeyo obusawo 2, obusawo 10 obwakawungana obusawo 10 obw'ebijanjaalo okudduukirira abaganda baffe abali mu mbeera etasoboka. Sebo tutuuse
tweyanza nnyo bannange, twebaza nnyo muganda waffe Bebe olw'omulimu gwatukozeemu okulaba nti asobodde okutudduukirira. Ye muntu ow'okubiri okulaba nti ajjukidde bannamawulire okumanya nti embeera gye balimu si nnungi naddala oluvannyuma lw'okufuna ekirwadde kino kinamutta COVID-19, nti abantu baganda baffe abasinga naddala ba freelancers abakolera ku store nti atunda store kati tebakyalina mulimu gwonna era bali waka batudde. So tulowooza nti initiative eno Bebe gy'akoze tumusaba twongera okumwebaza ate ne tusaba n'abazira kisa abalala baveeyo batudduukirire kuba bannaffe gye bali wadde nga tebasobola kwogera olwa profession yaffe, naye ate ffe nga abakulembeze tuvuddeyo okuboogerera era nga tusaba nti n'abazira kisa abalala bonna baveeyo batuyambe tulabe nti tuwonya abaganda baffe n'okubakuuma nga balamu ate tusobole okwongera okuweereza eggwanga lyattu Uganda nga tuli bomu.
Basebo ne banyabo ngenda kuddamu okubeebaza naye nga sinaba kubeebaza saayogeddeko mu Luganda. Kansabe ennyanjula ensonga yange mu Luganda olunaku lwaleero nvuddeyoko ne ndeeta contribution yange eri Ministry ya Health ngezze mu sectors 3. Ndese ensawo 5 ez'emmere ez'okuwa abalwadde ba TB abali ku maddagala g'amaanyi. Then nemmala nendeeta ensawo 2 ez'okuyambako ku ba DJ abali mu mbeera embi, baganda baffe betukola nabo mu mirimu, kubanga era tetuyinza kumala geeyisaawo ng'abatamanyi nti ne muganda wakuddiridde olina omutunuulira. Then nenyongerako n'ensawo 2 endala ez'okuwa aba association ya Ujja, Uganda Journalists Association, okusobola okuyamba ku baganda baffe abali eyo abaawumuzibwa olwa COVID ono, nengera embeera gye baalimu teyali nnungi before nga tebannabawummuza. Nkubiriza abantu bonna mu fraternity yaffe ya entertainment tukyesobolamuko akatono ke kakulu, teweetaaga kugaba kinene nnyo naye akatono. Manyi nti ffenna tetumanyi kikijja mu maaso, naye ku ssaawa eno tusooke tudiringe n'ekiriwo. So nkubiriza abantu bonna, bannannyini mabaala, bulijjo munoonya obulango, bannannyini businesses ezidipendinga ku kulanga, muveeyo mukwatireko ku bantu be bayita bannamawulire. Nammwe bannannyini mabaala, Uganda Bar and Clubs Associations, nammwe bannannyini bifo nga bwe mulaba halls ebivulu gye bibeera, muveeyo mukwatireko ku ba DJ because be bakola mu bifo byammwe be babaleetera abantu. Yensonga lwaki groups zino 2 zibadde zeetaagisa okuyambibwako. Ate ku kyabannamawulire kyanjawulo kuba ate bo bakyakola ne ku ssaawa eno nga mwe muli waka mweggalidde. Be bakuba obulango bwa COVID, be bajja ku Ministry of Health buli lunaku ne batransferinga amawulire. So okubadduukirira, jjukira bo amaanyi bakozesa mangi, emisana teri transport, abasinga batambuza bigere okulaba nti bakola ki, batuukiriza ensonga ey'okubatuusaako information ey'obulwadde bwaki bwa COVID. So kyovalaba nti mwetaaga okubayambako. So mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala bassebo ne bannyabo, neyanziza.
Ekyo si kyekikulu, ekikulu kyakubanga tugabye
alina ebijanjalo by'abantu, ebintu by'abantu. So kibeere ekyokuyiga eri abayimbi abasigadde n'abantu abasigadde nti nno omutima emmeeme gabagaba, emmeeme ateefuna. So lwaki tutaddeko ekigambo Bebe Cool through Amber Hearts Foundation, musobole okutegeera ebivudde era nga 0 kilo 5 ate birongooseemu. Tekuli luyimba, tekuli luyimba, temukisussa, tekuli luyimba. Kilo 5 zino.
Celebrity Track. Subscribe.